Good morning, how you doing? And welcome to another day. Hope you're enjoying our travels. We have been to some great places in the last little while, haven't we? India, fantastic. Nepal, the amazing mountainscape there. Oof. Bali, chilling on the beaches, going to see that amazing island of Nusa Penida. Myanmar, a country that's just developing, but also amazing. And now I'm doing a transit through Bangkok. I've got a few days, so I'm spending a few days here in Bangkok. And I don't want to spend all the time in the city, so I've taken a trip for a night, or actually I'm spending 2 nights in Ayutthaya, which is only about 80 kilometers. I did it by train. Let me show you a little bit of what it's like going round Ayutthaya, the place I can't say the name of. Ayutthaya, I think is how it's said. I'll have to get somebody to pronounce it for me. Now, Ayutthaya is hot, and yes, get out early in the morning, get the morning light, go and find somewhere for a drink and lunch during the midday, and then go out and explore the afternoon and the sunset. Now, a quick tip to save you a bit of money: there's lots of restaurants around the rivers, and there's always lots of eateries near the site. But to save yourself a bit of money, look out for places like this. Now, this is just tucked down a little side street. It's got a little sign up saying coffee, a couple of stalls outside. Now, instead of the between 50 and 200 baht that I was paying at the riverside restaurants, I got my Coke in nice big ice for only 20 baht. So find these little things. I'm just around the corner from the Reclining Buddha, so it's right near the main attractions, and it's a much cheaper way to save money on your drinks. Remember, keep hydrating. So you're in Bangkok, you've got a bit of time, you want to see a few things. Now you're asking yourself, is it worth going to Ayutthaya? So you're asking yourself, is it worth the trip going to Ayutthaya? Well, it's a tricky one. It's not that difficult to get to from Bangkok. It's not that far. If you like a bit more peace and quiet, a little more nature and gardens, and a lot of history, then yes, it's worth a visit. You can do it in a day trip. There's various ways of doing it. Number one, the easiest, is just to go to a travel agency or even ask your hotel and organise a drive and a car to pick you up from the hotel, drive you there. It's about an hour's drive, traffic depending, and then they drive you back at the end of the day. So that's the easy, but probably the most expensive way of doing it. The second way of doing it is just to hire a taxi on the street. Negotiate a rate, again, to do a day trip. That'll probably, I don't know, if you're negotiating your skills, you might get a bit cheaper, but taxi's a bit less reliable. The way I did it, which is probably the cheapest and it's still fairly easy to do, is go by train. There's regular trains. There's something like 8 or 9 trains a day from Bangkok Central Station to Ayutthaya Station. It takes about 2 hours. If you want to cheapskate it like me and go in third class, which I'll show you some pictures of, no aircon, bench seats, perfectly okay for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It cost me a whole 20 baht the journey, and I'm staying overnight. Because the best times to see Ayutthaya are first thing in the morning and last in the evening. And of course, if you're doing it as a day trip from Bangkok, which you can still do on the train, because you can, I think the train starts at 6:30, so you get up early, come back on the late train, you can still do it. But I prefer the peace and quiet and staying overnight. That means I can travel in the morning, spend the afternoon looking around, have a nice evening by the river, get some nice food in, watch the sunset, then have a night's rest, get up early the next day, explore all the next day, and if you want, you can then go home the next afternoon or wait till the evening, do the sunset and evening. And for most people, that's probably enough for visiting here, because there's only so much you can do in ambling around old ruins. It's a beautiful place. It's much cheaper than Bangkok, so it's good for saving money, even with the transport there. What, 20 baht each way. But is it worth coming? Well, it is the ancient capital of Siam. It does have some of the most amazing ruins that you can visit very easily. So if you want some peace and quiet and to see some amazing history, learn a little bit about the history of Thailand, then yes, it's worth coming. And also escaping from the city. If you're a bit tired for time, then yes, you can do it in a day trip. But otherwise, come, enjoy a night, 2 nights, amble around and soak in some of the atmosphere. Okay. Floodlit temple, sunset and floodlit temples. Lovely way to end the Ayutthaya. But now all I've got to do is find my way out of the ruins. They'll be blowing the whistle quite persistently now for a few minutes. So, but isn't it beautiful? It's, one of the many temples. It's worth spending a night here just so you can see some of these temples lit up at night. Because look at that. Isn't that a beautiful sight? If you hear a sharp beep, 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 it's the guard waving his at me, and I'm like, yeah, I can hear you whistling, I'm on my way. There you go, told you. Okay, better go before I get locked in and get into trouble. Some of Ayutthaya at night. You know what's going to happen now, though, don't you? It is time to go and get some more food and definitely some drink. Oh, I've been drinking so much today, but I don't think I've drunk enough. I finally made it out, hopefully without getting into trouble. Thank you. Good night. And one more reason for staying over in Ayutthaya and not just doing a day trip, apart from seeing the sunset, watching the buildings light up, you have also got a fantastic night market. So let me take you through the night market. There is, up that end is clothes and souvenirs and things. I'm not going to, lots of teddy bears. See if you want to supplement your teddy bear collection, then this is clearly the place to go. My Little Pony, that's about the only one I recognise. Think of dating myself there. But yes, go here for your teddy bear collection. I'm not going to go down that end though. What I am going to do is take you through some of the food selections. Smoothies, fresh coconut smoothies, made fresh. Yeah, look at that. I'm not sure what's being made there. It's got sweet corn in it, so I hope it's not a smoothie. No idea what these are. I recognise spring rolls. Now let's have a little look through. Also quite busy. This is very popular with the locals. It's not, I mean, it obviously is for the tourists as well, but the fact that all the locals come and shop here is a good sign. It means that it's quite good food and it's probably sensible prices. And the food does look good. Some liquids getting put into a bag. Trays of food that I don't recognise. Green stuff that I also don't recognise. Aha! Bananas being roasted, something I recognise. And behind these little stores there's little tables where you can sit on some of them. So it's sort of takeaway food, but there's some chairs behind. 20 bahts for, oh, that's unripe mangoes and mangoes. Oh, 50 for ripe mangoes. Sausage on a stick with noodles in. Looking good. Kid having to do his homework in the middle of the market, poor boy. And his mum's not letting him off. No, oh, these look good. Wow, I have no idea what it is, but it looks good. And partial to meat. Ooh. What else do we have? Deep fried meat. I think it's chicken leg I recognise there. Oh, and look at this. I think there's a bag of strawberries for 70 baht. I'm going to pick one of them up on the way back. And little platters, fish. Vegetables. Oh, tongue. I don't fancy that myself. But if you want ox tongue, there we go. This is more my style. Fried, okay, stuff. There you are. And so far, apart from this lady here, who I think is trying to raise funds to carry on her travelling, I appear to be the only foreigner here. Here's bake packing, I think it's called. You can leave me your comments on that. I'm not going to say anything about it. It's not something I can say I approve of in a country like this. We're basically looking for donations from anybody here, specifically targeting the locals and tourists, because they know they're sympathetic here, so they can carry on travelling. If you think the food can be used for better things than that, sorry. Anyway, back to the market. I haven't found anything I'd be sure risk eating. Tongues, brains, some fried things. A bit deep fried for my liking. But everything smells so good and fresh that I'm looking for somewhere where, where I have control of the camera, which is unlikely. I mean, what are these? I have no idea. Oh, I've come to a DVD store. That looks like waffles. I think I'm causing complete chaos waving across the path here. Sorry, everybody. Good. Okay, you can't hear me, so I'm going to turn you around again. Try and get through. And I'm sort of through. What's that? Ooh, dumplings. Well, they look good. Oh, and this is something being made. I have no idea what it is. Well, got some strawberries, got some water, got some meat that I think was chicken. Very tasty anyway. You know, much taste, but it was soft, juicy. Now, not exactly lost. I just can't find my bike. I know it's along here somewhere. The trouble is, there's just rows and rows of bikes. Now, never mind's got a basket on the front. That doesn't eliminate many. My helmet's in the basket. I think it's a white helmet. Anyway, I'm strolling my way back now. Hope I haven't walked too far. I think there's quite a long strip of things. Oh, this looks like a likely place. And there she is. I think that's it anyway. I'll check because it's got apples. And yeah, see, I told you it's a white helmet. And I got apples and a cap in it. Well, Today, even though I had a great day, I did have a slight misfortune. I got stung by a wasp-like insect on my foot. And you can see how it's swollen up. Now, I got it stung this morning. It's been sort of sore all day. But this evening, oh my goodness, it's swollen up so badly. It's pretty sore. So I've dug out some antihistamine and taken them. I don't think I'm allergic, but I'm going to take it just to see if it helps. And boy, I can feel the heat coming from it. It's amazing. Not in a good way either. It really is not looking good. And tomorrow, I have got to do some more exploring around Ayutthaya, catch a train to Bangkok, and prepare for flying out of Bangkok to Vietnam the next day. This foot is sore, it better be a pain. I can sort of stand on it, but it's sore to walk on. And the thing is, I know with poison you mustn't move it too much because it spreads the poison around, but when I stop moving, it really swells up even more. And I've got to sleep, so I'm going to lie very still. Hope I wake up with both feet in the morning.